All right, to glaze your windows, first step before you start anything is to make sure your glass fits. Because you don't want to start the process and have it not fit. And whenever you're dealing with glass, you need to be careful because the edges are sharp and it can break. When you're dealing with these long pieces like this, it's kind of difficult. This one here is 20 by 60. That was lucky. It didn't break. It fits. Yay. So now moving on to the next step. Get it out carefully. I have over on the floor back here paper to set it on the board, so that way it's not sitting on concrete, so I don't chip the edge, which could lead to a crack. And next thing I do is I put a small bead of caulking. I like using a all-purpose. This is a 45-year caulking white. You won't see it when it's covered with glazing. Glazing in. There was a little crack in the paint, so I was just filling it, and I just start put a bead. Probably a 1/16 of an inch, right between a 1/16 and 1/8 of an inch bead. Get off, like that. You can cut it off later once it dries, as long as you don't press it on. You want to kind of keep it away from the edge, the inside corner, because the glass. But you want it to seal on the flat where the glass sits. There, got our bead. Check it, make sure it's out good. And it'll have a good seal. I do this to help seal with that extra glazing and seal it, but this just adds to it, helps hold the glass in. Make sure all marks from it getting cut are wiped off. And reinsert it the way that you test fitted it, that it fit. Again, edges are sharp, so be careful. If you have if you have another person around, it sure helps to set it in. But if you don't, just do as careful as you can. set it in, make sure it's down good, squeezing, getting good squeeze on the caulk that's in there. This has, then you take your points, and I always just use a glazing tool, one of these, and carefully I just come up from the edge a little ways, push down a little bit, start pushing into the wood this way, and wiggle. Make sure it's snug on the glass, and push it in. And that caulking that you put down like that gives it a nice, even, soft seat all the way around, other than just being there to seal it. Those two are stuck together. There we go. You just push them in until, as you can see, I'm using the tool to push right there like that and wiggling it into the wood. Careful not to push down on the glass too much. And again, back to what I was saying about that caulking. It gives it a nice soft seat all the way around the perimeter, and it also, when you push down, it gives it a stop that's soft, so that way you're not pushing hard on the wood when you're doing this. I put 4 along the long sides. I'm going to put 2 at the top and the bottom. And you see squeeze out of the caulking that's uneven. After it's cured, I go back with a razor blade and cut that and scrape it off. Some of them go in real easy, like that one. Some of them fight. It all depends on the grain of the wood. It's nice when they go in nice and snug like that. If you put too much pressure on the glass, you can break it doing this. You just put moderate pressure down, not too much. Most of your pressure is going towards the frame. Of the window. This is the second window I've done today. The first one was a 40 by 60. This is for a bay window that replacing the windows on. Made new ones to go in. And then once that's done, this is what the points look like. Once they're in, and then, yeah, again, I'll trim that up after the caulking's cured. Now you want to take your glazing tool, your glazing knife, go around, because there's a chance that some of the caulking squeezed up. You don't want that up here because it'll interfere with how the glazing sticks to the wood. So you just scrape that off. Careful not to scratch the glass, because if you scratch the glass, it'll make a weak spot, which it'll start radiating a crack out of, and eventually can cause a break, which a crack really, that's what a crack really is a break. And once you get all the way around, make sure your putty knife is free of caulking. And wear gloves. This stuff's a mess if you get it on you. I had some on me with the last window, and soap and water, got warm water and soap, got it off. But it's kind of like when you're making a dough in the kitchen, and it's real tacky. That's a lot of how the texture of this is. That's the amount of putty that the first window used, like 40 by 60, and just kind of take it, stir it a little bit, make sure the top isn't dry. But I know this isn't, because this is a brand new tub that I've been using out of today. And you take it, check my camera angle. Let me zoom in where we're gonna get started here. Take it, just scoop it and spread it out. And pack it in. You want that packed in tight. Just keep packing. Check and make sure I got it going in the corner here good and tight. I'm packing. Pack it. I've seen people use their hands to do this. Just kind of slide it off on there. But I like using the glazing knife because I can actually pack it in there a little harder. Still being careful not to hit the glass with the steel on the knife here. It's not really sharp, but it does have a beveled edge on it. And I clean that off just so it doesn't dry. Knock that down in there. Then this tool has that end on it, which comes in handy for this part. You just stick it on here, like so. And pull. Now you see I got a mess. I just go back, clean that up, wipe it off. Carefully clean up the mess. I kind of clean up as I go so I'm not getting dry behind me. I dig it back in there. Keep using it. It's a lot like sheetrock mud in the sense of if it starts getting dry, it'll pull and cause more of a mess than just leaving it. And I'm going back to kind of smooth out a few things. And that, I'll leave it until it cures, and then I'll take a razor and cut this off, all this stuff off, and use glass cleaner, a good glass cleaner. And we set this up, we set the putty on the glass. Be careful because it can break it. You don't push down on it hard, you don't bang it around. Alright, I'll widen the view again. You just continue around packing glass. You're packing the glazing to the glass and to the frame. You want to get it in there tight so that way it makes a good bond and wedges it plus sticks to it. Looks kind of like a mess when I keep going, but it cleans up. You can bring this back here and just kind of do that for a rough dress. See how I'm using my fingers then that's good enough to leave there. Using my fingers to kind of hold it in the same spot, using this one against the frame, these two to hold the position, the angle. And like here, I'm going to use my hand again as a guide, so I don't scrape away what I don't want to scrape away. Raising its pulling here, leaving it rough, because I used this part of the blade right here, that angle. It leaves too much steel on the glazing, which causes it to pull. So to get it smooth again, I'll just flip it over, use the back edge of it, and it smooths it right out. In the corners, I'll show you how to do a corner when I get over closer to the camera. My stand is not very portable. Get it from the one way. Set that off there so you kind of got a field of view. But you get it one way, and where they intersect, you cannot leave it. Till you get the other way done. Then you just kind of freehand do it. You just keep on going around, working it in. Basically kneading it down, pressing it in. And do things like that. You get rough. And corner. I'm going to spin it around and show you up close how to do a corner. And I don't set this down on there because it's steel and it could shatter the glass if you're not real careful. Alright, I kind of got it fixed up on this corner. See how I kind of got it roughed in? I got it brought out this way. And then I just took the extra and scooped it over here, did that. And I'm starting over a little ways from the corner. And rotate it to the corner and rotate it out of the corner. And you get a nice even corner. Whoops, around. I need better camera equipment for this. There we go. All I do is I take a glob, mud putty, and work it in. That way it goes in. Get the hair out of there. It goes straight into that corner all the way. I got quite a bit extra here. Still left extra. And then just take the knife and put the bevel on the top like that. And you want to line it up or a little outside of where the frame is under the glass. Hold this, position your fingers so this is here. You got middle finger against the frame as a guide, and then you can put your pointing finger and your thumb like that and kind of cradle it and use the top of your frame and hold it about like that, so that way you don't have a lot of steel on the glazing, and drag it. And clean it up. You can see that there's a little pit, it's rough in there. Kind of wipe your knife off and stand it up a little more and go a little slower. And drag it out. just do this. You want that putty in there good and tight. You don't want voids in the corners. In the corner, you know, voids against glass or the frame. And I'm tearing my glove. I did that on the last window. And I get however far you want. And just make sure it's all packed in. Clean the knife off. And position your fingers again. This time I'm just putting that there for safekeeping for a moment while I come back and right here is where I ended. So I like to pack back a little bit just to make sure. You come to the corner again. I got sheetrock on my hand. Sure, if you're curious. I'm not doing that earlier. And got that. So now clean the knife off. Come back, backpack, make sure it's all good and tight. And got that all up here for now. Come here and just do it like this. If you hold it right, it kicks that out there like that. And you just pack that in around the corner. Instead of backpacking on this one, I'm packing it forward again. I'll stop shy of the corner where I started. Make sure the back of the knife is cleaned, and just dig it before the corner again, and stand the knife up, bring it into the corner, and out of the corner, kind of swiveling it as you go into the corner as you go into it, and out of it as you go out. And back at the beginning. See, I bumped where I didn't want to bump. I didn't position my fingers and hold it. So I just gotta put it at the angle, press it in. And I went too fast, made it rough. And it has laid down too far. Bring it into the corner I did start at. Clean up all the extra glazing. Move it so you can get to it easily. I'm going to spin it around so I can get to both sides easily. And here's kind of a close-up of doing the corner. Come in, this thing stood up about like that. Come in, swivel, and swivel. Clean the extra off the knife. Need a little more in the corner. This was starting to dry enough, it sticking to the steel. So I just used my glove to smooth it back out. Clean this up. And check it, make sure there isn't globs anywhere. That's what I use to hold the camera in some situations. This broken filter. Let's make a new one. Make sure your knife is clean. And run it up here. Make sure none is. There shouldn't be any up here. And every once in a while there's a little bit of debris. And just run it around. And this I throw away. That's it, putting it back into the tub. Because it's thinner, it'll be dry, it won't be good. And then what I do with this, when I'm done, just take the knife, run it around. Kind of like, just like I do my sheetrock mud. Get it all kind of swirl it a little bit, put it down in there. Anything you leave up on the edge, it'll get hard, and it'll dry, and it'll get in there and cause a problem when you go to use it again. There, you smooth it all down about like that, and it stays moist longer. If you want it to last a little longer, put plastic down on top and then snap your lid on. But that's how you glaze a window and install the glass. Hope you all have a good day. If this content helped you, please like and subscribe and share. All right, adios.